Hey, Lexi!
Hey Cameron. Hey, where did you go off to without telling me? I've said before that I want you telling me what you're doing when it gets late out.
I'm sorry. On my way home from work, my mom called me asking for me to come over and plan out a vacation with her.
A vacation?
Turns out that I'll be going with my mom to Hawaii for New Year's as a small trip.
Are you serious?
We plan to only be there for a week or so you don't have to get too surprised by this one. At first, it was going to be my mom and dad going to Hawaii together for that week, but now that dad's bedridden from his sickness, she's asked for me to go with her instead.
Wait! Why would you guys still plan to go to Hawaii with everything else going on?
What do you mean? Lots of people go on vacation during the New Year's, right? You think we're just joking?
You guys are still planning to go on that trip that your dad was supposed to go on while he's in the hospital, unresponsive because of his condition? At that point, people would normally just cancel the trip and stay home around their family.
But if we were to cancel this whole vacation now, we'd be left having to pay a boatload in cancellation fees to all the hotels and restaurants. So, instead of having to deal with that, I think it's better that I go in Dad's place, and then we won't need to worry about money, right?
But if you started to think about the condition that your dad is in, you shouldn't have the mindset to go to Hawaii, right?
You think so? I never thought I had to dwell on the thought of my dad being in the hospital that much. My dad won't even know we're gone because he's not even well enough to be awake, and he won't be for a long time, the doctor said. So there's really no point in us being home to go see him if he's not even going to be awake to say anything. I think now's the perfect time that my mom and I go out and do what we want since we don't have to be held down by him.
This isn't about seeing him all the time, but the fact that you should be worried about him more than some trip to Hawaii. If I were you or your mom, I wouldn't care about having to pay a little or canceling and would stay here to be with my dad.
Well, it doesn't matter what you do, because you're not even coming with us.
You both really plan on going still. I have no idea how you have the nerve to do that right now.
Oh, come on, Lexi. This is one of the things that always drives me up the wall with you. How you always act like you're so right about everything.
Uh-huh.
No matter how you try and make me feel bad about my choice, I'm going to Hawaii. Tonight I'll be home to get my things together, and then I'm heading back to my parents' place to stay until the trip. Don't even try stopping me anymore.
Wait.
No!
What the heck, Cameron?
Alright, I'm getting on the plane right now.
So you both really are leaving?
It's my job as my mom's son to be here for her when she wants to go out and do something.
That's weird though, considering her husband is in the hospital in really bad shape right now. I wonder what's going on inside her head right now.
You're starting to get on my nerves here, Lexi.
I'm just going to tell you this one last thing then. If your dad does end up waking up during the time that you're both away, I'm going to have to tell him everything that's going on with his wife and his son, okay?
Go right ahead. I know for a fact he's not waking up while we're gone. Well, even if he does wake up, he'll at least have you there to care for him. And make sure you don't wander off, leaving him without any family, alright? So, with that, I'll be back in a week.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens then.
Lexi, Happy New Year!
Wait, David, Happy New Year! How has your body been doing after being asleep for so long?
Well, I'm still working out a lot of the kinks, but I have to say that all the hospital food actually tastes pretty good after not eating for so long, and I'm really looking forward to getting even better.
That's so amazing to hear.
By the way, something tells me that both Cameron and Lucy ended up still going to Hawaii then?
Yeah. Cameron ended up taking your place and going with your wife. They left yesterday.
I see.
I'm sorry that I couldn't stop them. I told them over and over again not to go while you were in the hospital, but they never listened to me. They never even bothered to come see you in the hospital after you were taken in by the ambulance.
That's all right, Lexi. I was the one that told my wife not to push herself to come see me if I ended up slipping into a coma. So she had every right to have gone away for a bit expecting that I wasn't going to wake up. I'm sure she just remembered that I said that, and so she didn't mean any harm by leaving to Hawaii still with Cameron.
Then I suppose that I wasn't going to change their minds after all.
Well, even if I hadn't said that to her, I doubt she would have stayed. I remember after being helped from the car accident by your family and you, that my wife had already been pretty reluctant to come see me because me being so badly hurt and sick would ruin the trip. Of course, a small part of me wanted to tell her to stay by my side as I was in the hospital, but she was very excited for the trip, and so I never had it in me to change her either.
David.
I'm sorry that I've told you all this, but I thought it'd be best that you knew what was going on.
Thank you.
But there is a reason for them wanting to be away on this trip, and I think you should be ready to understand what I mean by that.
I see. Well, for the time being, I will prepare myself for what's next and to help you.
Thank you, Lexi.
Lexi? Tomorrow my mom and I will be coming back, so can you come get us from the airport?
Uh-huh. You want me to come all the way there? Don't you realize that the airport is a couple hours away from our place? Why not just take the bus back to our place from there, or at least get an Uber or something to go home in?
Well, we have a lot of things with us. You're my wife, so you have to listen to everything my mom and I ask for.
Well, before we continue with this, your dad woke up.
Really?
When I was going to go and see him, he had woken up and started talking to me.
Are you serious about that?
He says that he has enough energy to text you guys, so I'll let him handle this.
He can't really be awake already, right? You're lying, right?
Cam,
Hi, Dad.
did you have a good time in Hawaii? I know that you went there in my place, right?
Right. Well, we went to all sorts of beaches and stayed at a few really nice resorts. Even went out and tried surfing for the first time in my life.
I see. I'm sure it was a great time, leaving your dad who was in a coma behind so that you could go out to Hawaii, huh? You both are coming home tomorrow, I hear? I'd make sure that you enjoy whatever time you have left there before having to come back and see me, okay?
Hey, Dad.
Well, I guess I should get things started then.
What are you going to get started? I'm sure you're just really happy to see us again, right? Maybe there'll be some sort of surprise for us when we get home, right?
Just make sure to let your mom know that she needs to be prepared for what comes next.
Dad? Maybe you're less happy and more mad then? Hey, Lexi, what is this? Why is there a divorce form?
So you've made it back home now? Hope you made it back okay.
But what is going on with this divorce form laying on the counter?
Well, about you, Cameron. You were in Hawaii with another woman, correct?
Why do you say that?
Well, your dad started to look into your mom about her cheating, and lo and behold, you ended up being with another woman as well. And then once your dad found out about that, he told me.
What? So you know about Mom as well then?
That's right, we both do. We both figured that you guys really continued with that trip, not because you didn't want to pay any cancellation fees, but because you both were going to have an affair, correct? I hope you both had fun at least.
No, hold up. If you really think about this, things don't seem to add up, right? Do you really think my dad could have done all of that when he was in a coma for so long?
Well, he told me that he's been looking into your mom for over half a year now. That's before he ever got into that accident, Cameron. And your dad has actually been awake for a month now. Did you know that?
What?
Of course not, because neither you or your mom ever came to see him. When I started going to the hospital to help care for him, he opened his eyes.
What? You hid that from both my mom and I?
Well, when he asked me where the two of you were, I told him that they didn't plan to come see you. And so he told me everything and asked that I keep my mouth shut about it.
Why though?
Well, your dad was a little upset about the fact that neither of you two wanted to be around him when he was in his time of need.
But why would he never tell us that he was at least awake?
Cameron, your dad knows that you aren't actually his son.
What?
I never really knew that you weren't your dad's real son, and David didn't really know either until he started looking deeper into things. But now he knows that the man that your mom went to see in Hawaii is actually your real dad. So really, this whole trip was going to be both your real parents, you, and then that woman you wanted to cheat on me with, correct? I'm not sure why I say that like it didn't end up happening, because you guys did see them and enjoy your time in Hawaii with them.
You know all about that now. Dang it.
I'm sure that your mom will soon be finding the divorce paperwork that I've placed in her living room for her to find.
Huh?
Your dad asked me to help him place it there while he stayed in his hospital bed.
Are you kidding me?
Ah, that's right. David has gone ahead and changed to a new hospital, so if either of you try to come and talk to him, you'll find that you're both too late.
Where did he go to, Lexi?
Well, I'm not sure about where myself.
Why don't you know? Out of all the things that he decided to tell you about, he never mentioned the next hospital he'd be going to?
Well, he realized once you both came back from Hawaii, he wouldn't want anything to do with you guys. The last time I spoke with him was yesterday, and then after that, we decided not to talk to one another anymore. So I haven't heard anything else from him since. And in the case of David, he doesn't know where I am currently either. I think if you want to find anything else about David's whereabouts, perhaps you'll have some luck talking to his lawyer when he starts talking with your mom about all of this.
He even got a lawyer involved in this?
Well, why the heck wouldn't he be, Cameron? As a matter of fact, I'm also going to be getting a lawyer soon. So when that happens, you'll be hearing from them instead of me, okay?
You're getting one as well?
There's some information and a few business cards with those divorce papers you found, right? Those will be the lawyers I plan to get involved with to help me see all this through.
Hey, can we at least talk this over a bit more in person? You've been married for 3 years now, so you have to have the heart to want to talk things through, right?
We've been married for 3 years, yet you choose to cheat on me. What made you think that was an okay thing to do when you should have the heart to talk to me? And also, even though he was never your father and never knew that, he raised you all the way to the point you're at now and learned recently that you aren't his and his wife has been cheating on him all this time. Imagine being in his shoes and having to feel all the emotions he's having now just trying to deal with all of this. Especially after an accident that left him in a coma. Honestly, I might have stayed to talk things through with you over cheating on me, but what really pissed me off was you just leaving your dad in the hospital while he was dealing with all of this to go to Hawaii with your cheating mom. So me leaving you is justified, right?
But, Lexi...
Don't say my name anymore, okay? I've got to get going now.
Huh?
Make sure that I get all of the money I asked for in the settlement, okay? Please and thank you.
What? Dad! I still really do think of you as my real father. And what happened with me and going to Hawaii and while I was there,
Perfect timing. I want you to tell this to your mom for me as well. I'm not going to change my mind about the divorce. And as for me and you, Cam, I'm planning on cutting all ties I have to you.
What?
And right now, I'm getting myself a new phone and a new number, so neither you or your mom will ever be able to find me or contact me ever again. Then, once you're never able to talk with me or see me again, you'll have to go through my lawyer, who is looking forward to talking with you both.
But, Dad...
I need to get back to getting my new phone now.
Dad, please!
To start, David had a long talk with his lawyer about how he wanted both his wife and his son to be taken out of his will, as well as for both of them to get nothing from him in the divorce. When this was brought up to both Cameron and Lucy, neither of them wanted to agree to what David was asking and tried begging for him to rethink what he had planned to do to them. Of course, he didn't budge, and so Lucy signed the document first, followed by Cameron doing the same with huge reluctance. And then, instead of taking any settlement from Cameron and Lucy, he only asked that Cameron's real dad pay him. In my case, I went and had a settlement made for both Cameron and the woman that he cheated on me with. Once they had both paid the money that I had asked for, they were left with the realization that I just took $15,000 from the both of them, and that things were going to become much harder. Cameron ended up leaving his job due to all the stress and returned back to his mom and real dad with his new girlfriend, where they all started to live together with very little money to their name. Now, the only person that seems to be working any sort of job is the real father, and he is left with himself and 3 people that he'll have to start trying to care for.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Good morning, Alyssa. Are you working this morning too? I heard your husband Henry is a high-flying banking executive. Is it true? Surely you don't have to work so hard when your man's bringing in that much money. I fail to see why you'd be so desperate to sacrifice yourself as a corporate cannon fodder cubicle slave to a company that couldn't care less about you. If I were you, I'd be pouring all that energy into being the best stay-at-home housewife there ever was to make sure Henry had all of his needs provided for, if you catch my drift. If it was me, I'd sure as heck wouldn't be slacking on my womanly duties like you are. Oh, Henry is just so dreamy. He's so wasted on good-for-nothing corporate livestock like you. How on earth did you manage to bag yourself such a high-quality guy in the first place? I fail to see what he sees in you. If he's truly honest with himself, I'm sure he'd probably rather have a loyally devoted stay-at-home housewife like me as his wife. Good morning, Christine. Reading through your deluded fantasies first thing in the morning is so disgusting it's making me want to throw up. So would you kindly stop spamming my message box with your hate? Thanks. Huh? Disgusting? How dare you speak to me like that? Henry says he'll always love me whether I work or not. Oh dear, would you look at that? She accuses me of being delusional while coming up with ridiculous fantasies of her own. There's no way any man would ever say that, darling. Everyone knows men only look for 2 things in a woman: big boobs and good cooking. Are you sure all that working hasn't fried your neural circuits? You really should think before you speak sometimes. A high-flying stud like Henry, happy with a working wife? Now I've heard it all. My train will be arriving at the station soon and I have to make it to work, so I gotta go. Goodbye. Oh, how sad. You're such corporate livestock, you don't even have the freedom to message when you want to. That can only mean you probably don't have enough time to talk to your husband either. Oh dear, that poor man. Henry must be really lonely and sexually unsatisfied with you as his wife. If it was me with that ring on my finger, I'd become a stay-at-home housewife and listen to his troubles until the early hours. I'd be there for him whenever he needed me, his solid, dependable rock, his shoulder to cry on. Listen, Alyssa, don't you think it's best for Henry that you divorce him? At this rate, he'll be stuck with you for the rest of his life. Truly a fate worse than death.
Hey, Alyssa. I'm taking a late lunch break right now. What was that woman's name again? You know, the annoying one from kindergarten.
Huh?
You know, the one you said was a pain in the ass to talk to. The one who keeps insulting you, calling you stuff like corporate livestock, bugging you all the time with random hate-filled messages.
Oh, Christine?
Ah, that's it. So that was her name.
Did something happen with her?
Well, she's been waiting in the lobby of the bank all morning. She's only just left.
Jesus, are you kidding me? You mean she showed up to your workplace at the bank by the station?
Yeah, she was here until about an hour ago. I had a suspicion that was who she was, so I didn't go over and speak to her myself, but when I asked one of my coworkers to go over and see what she wanted, apparently, she pretty much ignored everything he asked her while staring at me as I dealt with another customer before suddenly getting up and walking out.
Wow, incredible. She must really have a lot of free time on her hands.
Is that all this is?
Gah, nope, no. I think there's actually more to it. I wasn't sure whether I should tell you about this, but if she's doing weird stuff like showing up at your workplace now, I think it's for the best that you know.
Know what? What is it?
I think Christine might be trying to steal you from me.
Steal me? From you?
She just showed up at your workplace, right? I think that from now on, at least for the foreseeable future, you should operate under the assumption that you're being stalked.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Yep, I'm serious. To tell you the truth, she's been sending me lots of messages recently that would indicate that's what she's trying to do. To be honest, a part of me suspected she might do something crazy, but I guess the rest of me didn't want to accept it. Then finally, the other day, I got a message that made it as plain as day that what she's trying to do here is cause me and you to get a divorce.
Man, I can't believe this. Christine, seriously? She's about as far away from being my type of woman as could possibly be. Look, to tell you the truth, I hate girls who act the way she does.
I know that, which is why I know there's no danger of you ever looking at her in that way, and honestly, I'd be happy just to ignore her if she didn't cause anyone any problems. But if she's already doing crazy stuff like showing up at your workplace while you're on shift, we might have to start proceeding with a little more caution.
I'll tell you what, babe. I'll explain the situation to my boss so that if she shows up again, he can be ready this time. Let's just see how things play out for now.
Yeah, good idea. It'll help if your coworkers know what she looks like. I'll be on my guard too. I'll let you know if she says anything else, okay? Sorry for keeping this from you, Henry. I just didn't want to bother you is all, but I never expected her to start acting like this.
Don't worry about it, Alyssa. I totally understand why you didn't tell me. All right, I have to go. Catch you later. Alyssa, that woman is totally insane.
What happened?
It's Christine. She started working at the convenience store across the road from the bank.
She started doing what?
When I went to the store before work to grab some sandwiches and a drink for my lunch, I was browsing the sandwiches when she slithered around the corner from behind me all of a sudden, wearing one of the store uniforms. Then positioned herself between me and the sandwich counter so we were facing each other head on, and there was like 1 centimeter between us, and stared at me intently with the creepiest, most spine-chilling smile I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, that sounds like something out of a horror movie. Wait a sec. So she suddenly has a job after calling me corporate livestock all this time? At a convenience store, no less?
Hey, that's a good point. Do you think she knows?
I'm guessing she started working there because she doesn't. I'm going to do a little digging. Will you carry on keeping an eye on her for the time being? Make sure she doesn't notice you if you can avoid it, though. It's important we don't let our guard down here. There's no telling what she might do next.
Got it. You're right, Alyssa. You too, babe. Stay safe.
Hey, Alyssa. If I told you my plan to get closer to Henry was going amazingly well, what would you say? He is such a sweetheart. Can you believe he's been using his breaks from work to come and see me? But when I stare deep into his eyes, he gets embarrassed and averts his gaze. Isn't that the sweetest thing? My Henry is the cutest. I bet you never get to see his tender side like that, do you? Are you jealous? Go on, you are, aren't you? It's okay to admit you're in pain, honey. Anyone would be in your situation. Love is the most amazing thing. I don't need to hear any more about your absurd delusions, thanks. Excuse me? Listen, Alyssa, it's becoming increasingly obvious to me now that you don't know your place. Should I put you out of your misery and tell you? My place? You seem totally oblivious to it, but you should know that you're already well on the way to being divorced by a hunky Henry and living a life of despairing isolation and poverty as a single mother. The wheels are in motion, my dear, and there are no brakes on this train. As for me, my future as Henry's wife is already a dead certainty. Everyone knows that to have a rich, handsome husband is the ultimate status symbol for any woman. Basically, soon I'll have reached the peak of female excellence, and my status will be higher than all of the moms at kindergarten put together. And obviously, this part should go without saying, but it's your job as the lowest IQ moron of all the moms at kindergarten to follow my orders and do exactly as I say. That's why I hereby order you to divorce your husband. Hand him over. He's mine. Wow, this is really quite something, Christine. You know, just because you just got divorced yourself doesn't give you the right to go around trying to get your claws into other girls' guys. Huh? What the hell? What are you talking about? Me? Divorced? I didn't get divorced at all. No. That's not how this goes down at all. What's actually going to happen is that once mine and Henry's engagement is official, I'll be filing for divorce with my husband, but not a moment before. That convenience store across the road from the bank Henry works at? You started working part-time there a little while ago, right? Huh? How do you know that? According to my conversations with the other staff who work the same shift as you at the store, you've been going around seemingly half bragging about how your husband divorced you when he found out you had another boyfriend, and how you didn't have a choice but to pay him every cent of the compensation he demanded from you in court. You told them all about the circumstances leading up to your divorce with such boldness and forthrightedness that it almost seemed like you were proud of it. The reason you suddenly got a job after ridiculing me for God knows how long for being a working woman while extolling the virtues of being a stay-at-home housewife is because you suddenly owed your ex-husband massive amounts of compensation after the divorce and no longer had anyone to support you. You had no choice but to get a job and actually support yourself for a change, right? No. Oh my God. Wait a sec. How did you? That's not all. You were constantly bragging about how your new boyfriend worked at the bank across the road. You wouldn't have happened to have been talking about my husband, Henry, would you? It's actually impressive that you're still totally oblivious to how much you disgust him. To quote him, "She makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end." Your visits to the bank have even gotten so bad that his co-workers have been forced to talk to you several times and are now considering banning you from the premises entirely. And yet you still don't have a clue how unwelcome you are, do you? No. You hold your horses for just 1 second, Missy. What the hell is this? Those were all personal conversations held in the privacy of the convenience store staff room. How would you know about them? You don't even work there. Yep, I knew it. You don't know, do you? I guess it was only a recent development. What was? I'm the area manager for every single store in the region. Huh? The hiring of part-time and temp workers is still down to the store manager, so I don't have any say in that. But come to think of it, I still haven't shown my face at the store while you've been on shift, have I? Area manager? Wait, I've heard that title before. Aren't they even more important than the store manager? And it's you? Yep, it's me. In other words, I'm your boss. What? This is some kind of joke. You cannot be serious. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. You're fired. What the heck? Where did that come from all of a sudden? Listen, Christine, the thing is, I've been receiving constant complaints from the store manager about how you have an awful attitude and refuse to do any work at the store. You were so busy bragging about your alleged boyfriend working at the bank across the road that you thought you were above doing anything else, like you were somehow exempt from doing the job you were literally just hired to do. You even went as far as harassing Henry's coworkers at the bank when they stopped by the store to buy their lunch by aggressively trying to extract information about my husband from them. Don't even get me started on when Henry himself came in. You followed him so closely you may as well have been glued to him. You weren't only reported to the store manager by your coworkers, but you even made other customers feel uncomfortable with your creepy, unacceptable behavior. Me? Reported to the store manager? I had him check the surveillance cam footage, and sure enough, your conduct at work was horrendous. So after stopping by for a meeting with the manager, we decided that you stepping down was the only realistic solution, because we sure as hell couldn't let you carry on working there. Oh my God, you're horrible. To think you're abusing your powers as area manager just because Henry is about to leave you for me? This is disgusting. I'll have you in court for this. That's your response to everything I just told you? Seriously? I guess I shouldn't be surprised after everything, but you still somehow managed to astound me. You should know that Henry has zero intention of leaving, nor divorcing me. Huh? What do you mean? Don't be silly. Of course he does. How can you still not get it? I literally just told you. You've been causing Henry a world of trouble, and he is sick of you. Me? He's sick of me? Want some proof? How about the fact he's barely been stopping by the store since you started stalking him every time he showed up? You must have noticed he hasn't been around as much, right? He hated you following him around so much that he started getting his coworkers to pick up his lunch instead of having to face you himself. What? No, but Henry loves me. Anyway, you'll probably receive official notice from the store manager soon. You're fired. We won't be needing you to show up for your shift tomorrow. No way! But I worked so hard to get this job, and I need the money. I just got divorced, goddammit. My husband even took custody of our son. My life's a dumpster fire, for crying out loud. I am barely managing to get by as it is. And now you're saying I'm fired? I don't want to have to look for a new job. I worked so hard to get this one. In that case, you should have worked a little harder to keep a hold of it instead of using it as an opportunity to stalk my husband. Make no mistake, the reason for your dismissal is the continued refusal to do even the bare minimum of work. If you'd just done your job and not stalked my husband, I would have had no issue with keeping you on. But you're the area manager. Surely all it will take is one word from you and this whole thing would go away, right? Excuse me? Me and you are friends, right? We became best friends after meeting outside the kindergarten. Your husband took full custody of your son, did he not? Huh? Which means our kids, our initial point of contact, no longer serve as a medium through which I am forced to continue our relationship. I'll never have to tolerate you outside of kindergarten again, and I gotta tell you, Christine, I am super relieved by that. What? You're relieved? All right, I think we're done here. Alyssa, please wait. I can't cope on my own. I mean it. I'm all alone and I don't know what to do. See ya. I was shocked to discover the reason Christine initially got the hots for my husband is because he was the bank clerk who helped her make the compensation payment to her ex-husband after he divorced her. Henry, being good at his job, was naturally very friendly and polite to her and kept a smile on his face throughout the whole interaction. Christine, being completely insane, mistook that as him having a crush on her. When I asked Henry about it, he said he didn't even remember it. Eventually, Christine, after having her life smashed into smithereens by the mother of all deluded misunderstandings and an unhealthy obsession with other women's husbands, had no choice but to move back in with her parents in the middle of nowhere. However, around the same time, she got wind of the news that her first ever boyfriend had just divorced his wife. True to form, of course, crazy Christine interpreted this as him wanting to rekindle their old flame and spend the rest of his life with her. With that, she launched a stalking campaign so intense, it made what she did to Henry look like a warm-up. She lay in wait outside the poor guy's house every night before trying to force her way inside with him when he got back from work. When that failed, she crammed his postbox full with thousands upon thousands of love letters. Eventually, he was so terrified he got the police involved, leading to a restraining order being put out and Christine having to pay thousands of dollars in compensation. Before long, the whole town knew about her insane shenanigans, and her parents were forced to kick her out due to the shame and embarrassment. I have no idea where she is now, and to be honest, I couldn't be more pleased about that.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.